Hello and welcome to this 3 days free webinar. My name is Marianne Lane. I'm a modern shaman of the new era from Denmark. And as I wait for you to find me, I will share the link and I will find my presentation. I can see you find me. Welcome. Good evening. I'm so excited to be with you here. Let me just being secure and make also a recording, a sound file if anything should go wrong. And I'll just ensure that I'll find, where are we? Must be here to find the video so I can share the link. It's in here because it is for free and I would like as many as possible to enjoy this possibility. So I'll just share it on my English page and on the Danish as well. Because most of you here is Danes, I know that. Thank you for the support and to join me here as well. But I also have a lot of the people in my Danish page, my Danish channel, is easygoing in English. Even my a little bit insecure English, they can follow that as well. Just need to find the page. Here it is. And this teaching is both about the words, the models, how to try to explain different things, but it also comes with the energy. I'm a modern shaman and I have experiences of a mutual field of consciousness that can be enhanced and supports our consciousness in growth and balance. And this is a field that I'm attending, and this is the field that I'm presenting to you as well. So if you want to participate with this field of energy as well, you're following in by agreeing upon being a part of the field, agreeing upon being connected with the field and having this support. And this is a free 3 days teaching. And the teaching about the field will be the 3rd day. To enter the field, agreeing by saying yes, put your intention on participating is enough. And actually, we are all a part of energetic fields or energy fields. And I actually don't know if you're an English now is like allowed to, or that it's normal to say energetic, because as I know it, it means that you do something with high energy. But in Danish, we kind of use the English word energetic for something that is presented in the energy. So this field that's presented in the energy field, we are all participating in different energy fields. We are carrying our own energy fields. As we're having a physical body, we have our light body, we have a conscious energy field, or a consciousness energy field. And actually, when you're not related to anything about, when you're not thinking about anything with energy fields or consciousness, this is happening as well. When you're participating in any talk, in any teaching, there will be an energy field related to the teachings, related to the talk that everybody participates in. And the way we participate in this will be related to the culture, the rules, and the one who's holding it. The difference here is that when you work as a modern shaman, you use your senses, your sensitivity, and you train your sensitivity to have an access to the energy and to the field. So you begin to have recognitions and observations that support you to have a relation to this with sensations and with experiences. So this is not something that comes with belief. Of course, there's something that's about a belief, that's the frame that we put it in. It's a vocabulary, it's the models or the symbols that we use. They are much about believing, and they actually comes from different belief systems. Because I'm originally an engineer, working with science and love science, my models, my presentations often relates to this. It's not a proof for this to exist. So the meeting with the teachings comes with your resonance. So for you to participate and you to join in is just by being here, and then you can agree upon being connected to the energy field as well as related to the teaching. And then you can have your own experience. And when you work with the new era energies, it's important that you go through the body, your body experience. So open your sensation, you can say that, I know that. Open through your connection to the body, sense. Yeah, you could say open through your sensations. Okay. I'm a channel as well. Sometimes I'm channeling English words and then I have to go up afterwards and look them up, and then I found out they actually mean what they're supposed to mean, and I have my kind of proof. It's important that everybody find their own kind of proof when we're working with energy and consciousness, spiritual awareness, this way that we do. Because when we have teachers, we work as teachers, but we will be each other teachers. So we don't have a master or a guru. We don't have somebody who's telling somebody what to do. This is different. But we share, and as a teacher, I share my availability to the field that teaches. So I'm taught as well as you are when I'm channeling and when I'm using the connection for sharing. Okay, so with the connection to your body and your awareness, your choice of being here, maybe your choice of being connected with the field. And then I'm using this sigh, creating a sigh intentionally, because your body, as a human being, as an animal, you will use naturally a sigh to shift your focus, to shift the energy. Okay, I have to finish, I have to stop doing what I'm about and then change to something else. Okay, we can use this to support our energy, our consciousness through the shift. So when we intentionally have a shift here where you have been doing something else and now you're joining into this teaching, to have this connection through your body and keep this connection as good as you can, and then we'll have a little practice also on the run. So this is called Elite Power Teachings, opening of your power within. And it's about opening an easy access for everybody who wants to benefit of the ongoing shift in consciousness in new ways. I am Marianne Lane, a Danish modern shaman of the new era. And I'm an energy and consciousness worker, channel, clairvoyant, and voyager. I worked full time with this since December 2012, mostly in Denmark, but been working for a year about providing my service and my access internationally as well. Still working in Denmark. I'm working with teachings, traveling, sessions, inner search, and investigations. I'm an author in Danish so far. And before I worked at the university with biomolecular science, civil engineer within environmental microbiology and chemistry, a project leader and a specialist working with environmental issues. Yes, a lot of exciting things. And to me, it's all about energy and transformations, both when I worked at the university as an engineer and now as a modern shaman. The 21st of December 2022, not so long ago, the 7-dimensional consciousness opened in a mutual field on Earth, allowing everybody to reach oneness and direct access if we ask for it, if we reach for it. And this change also opened in 21 of December 2012, but at that time, the mutual field of consciousness on Earth opened to the 5th dimension. And it's called pseudo open because everybody is not in this capacity, but it's available. So it's the availability in the mutual field to everybody that's opening. As the 5D, the 5th dimensional consciousness, got available in the 21st of December 2012, it's now mature. So that's mean in some way everybody on Earth that has the capacity, and that's most of us, is actually present in 5th dimension. If we are balancing it, that's something else. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But this birth of the 7th dimensional consciousness on Earth has this aspect, this consequence. And the consequence is that until now, we have things in a way where we reach for the cosmic soul to be born on Earth, in Earth consciousness field, and this has been worked on by different channels, energy workers, teachers through times, more than 4,000 years. And long before that, but 4,000 years ago, a change happened where another connection opened an earth field. And I talked about that in the previous Elite Power teachings, and I'll come back to it as well. Through the connection with the cosmic soul, we open to cosmic reality, and the cosmic reality connects to the cosmic soul. The higher reality connects to the higher being, and maybe if you're energy sensitive, you can sense the energy change now. The reason why the energy change now is because it supports your inner knowing about this. So even though you can't relate to it, like what you're talking about, see if you can catch the resonance, the change in the energy, that something is affected by the energy and the words, even though you're not sure about what I'm actually talking about. Maybe you know everything about it. No matter if you're in the one end or the other, it still works. So I invite you to, if you have any sense of something is going on, invite you to stay a bit, even though you don't understand what I'm saying. Okay. Higher reality opens to higher being. The higher personality opens to higher possibilities. The higher wantings open to higher creations. Higher emotions open to higher passions. And higher thoughts open to higher ideas. Higher impulses open to higher flow. And the movement has been from the cosmic soul is born in earth conscious field, and then it has been supported by the soul entrance in every being to begin to connect by reflecting. So by inner reflections, we connect to whatever comes in, and it connects all through the cosmic reality. You could call the cosmic soul, the higher being, the higher possibilities, the higher creations, the higher passions, the higher ideas, and the higher flow. And we have been flip-flopped and stuck. So we actually have connection with all this level, but we are represented them in both the higher and the lower level at the same time. And that's really special. It's not normal. What's going on now that the 7-dimensional consciousness field is opening, it's turning everything around. So this is the same as before, but it's just the opposite way around. But what is higher? Higher is something that higher your vibration. It enlightens your perspectives. Higher brings you into joy, brings joy into your life, brings you into your life in a way that brings joy. It comforts. It creates satisfaction from your highest presence. Everything counts in and agrees. So you begin to agree upon yourself. So this is turned upside down. Instead of bringing in the cosmic soul, the higher being, what opens now in the mutual field on earth is that the higher flow opens. The higher flow is movements of consciousness that brings the higher the vibration, higher enlightens the perspectives, brings joy in life, comforts, and creates satisfactions from the highest perspective, and everything counts in and agree. This is a higher flow that right now opens as a presence in a mutual field of consciousness and earth. And when it opens, it actually means that when you go into reflection, that means that you focus in and you think about something. And when you can be connected with the 7D consciousness field because it's accessible, then you will have the experience that by being in this state, when you reflect, the things that comes by, the way you connect will bring you into a higher flow by higher impulses. So that means that the impulses you get will be driving you to something that is higher than you were before. And that's opposite to what it mostly have been before. In the old era, before 2012, the impulses mostly brought you into something that lowered your vibration. It could sense like highering your vibration for a short while and then it will be low again. Do you recognize this pattern? In the new era field, the reflections will open easier to the higher thoughts. The higher thoughts brings in higher ideas. So that means both your impulses and your thoughts will be enlightened by themselves. And I'm actually quite curious. Did any of you have this experience? Did you have an experience that when you are not stressed, when you have time for yourself and you think about what to do, or if you think about what you could do, or something comes by, do you have an experience that the ideas and the impulses that comes, that it begins to bring you better places, it brings you into higher vibration, it makes more sense, um, it enlightens your perspective more than before? Maybe you can't answer me right now, but if you think about it and you have recognitions, I hope you'll come back and give me a comment about it, because this is really just opening right now and I'm so curious about it. I have a sense of it myself and have a clear sense of the change. I have this vision that when I'm silent enough, it's like when the water on the lake is completely still and it mirrors everything so clearly that it can be difficult to tell what is the mirror, what is reality. And when I have this presence, this is the presence where I have this higher impulses and higher thoughts that gives my that brings in higher ideas and higher flow. So when there's a lot of waves and a lot of things that's going on, it's more difficult. And we have somebody who's recognizing it. Yes, indeed, my ideas are many and get more inspired. Yeah, definitely. Only problem is get too anxious sometimes, so I don't get silent. But when I am silent, I just want to stay the beautiful place. Yeah. And we will work a little bit about that. Thank you so much for the comment. I love it. It's so nice to have the sense of being together, even though that we are using this technology to meet across space and time. Earlier time, it was, for instance, more difficult to enter into this presence, being quiet and positive. It's more easy now. Okay, so with the possibilities of reaching to the higher thoughts, the higher ideas, the higher emotions, the higher passions open, when we can reach to this, the higher wantings, the higher creations, higher personality, higher, also misspelling, higher possibilities, higher reality, higher being, cosmic reality, cosmic soul. So what's going on now is that this is turning around, and for a while it's really present these months in the beginning of 2023, and but it will be an opening over 3 years that has been going on for a while. So in the fall, I think there will be 2 more years where this will opening, and everybody will participate, everybody will be a part of this, and then we will have an experience about how deep can we go. Can we be in the cosmic reality, the cosmic soul, just as we are here? And a sharing here as well, I also find that I'm more grateful for little things, feel more love. Yes, and that goes with the higher emotions, higher passions, higher wantings. Yes, higher wantings. Grateful for little things is aligned with higher wantings. Beautiful. We want this, don't we? Hoping for it, cheering on it. And this is also one of the reasons why I'm doing these teachings, these sharings. Okay. So to reach this, we could use some ideas about how to navigate, which also was the sharing here. How to navigate, how to get out of this anxious state, getting into the availability, the presence with the surface of the lake being completely still. And what supports you is what's really opening strongly as accessible states of being. That's what I call the deep lake. When you get more connected, and this is what's opening naturally in the 7D consciousness field, then you go from the shallow lake to the deep lake. When you are the deep lake, everything that comes by might make a lot of disturbance in the surface, but the most of the body of the water will stand still. So this is what we open to accessible, to access with the energy here, and with the talk, with the teachings, and with a small practice. What we are working against, and I don't like the work against. So we could say what we're working through is this disrupting system, and we have this system because we have been in a state of destruction, and then we males and females, and we are creating couples, and we have long-term nursery for our offspring. So because of this, we have really strongly activated not inspiration, but driving forces. We have really active driving forces related to the masculine and feminine balances and imbalances. We have also a movement in our reactions, in our interactions, that's about aggressions and being passive, doing and not doing. And then we have something that's related to our reflection, where we reflect to make it highly complicated, and reflecting it where it be low and simplified. And both ways is expanded consciousness. So it's about the amount of reflections that you can balance. The more reflections you can balance, the more expanded consciousness, the more contained presence you have, and then you can both carrying the simplification and the complication in a way where it's aligned. and thus makes sense and is embedded in reality. And this system has been out of balance in the mutual field of consciousness. It created self-degraded consciousness, multi-dimensional dualities. So we can like switch it around. Where are we connected or where are we disconnected? Consistent through every layer of consciousness. So this is so present. Instinct is just as strong in higher parts as in lower parts. So that's like, I have a beautiful picture of a lion coming soon. And I often have this vision that what shows that our instincts is just as strongly present in the higher parts as in the lower parts is that you can be just as scared for somebody laughing at you or somebody finding out that you are wrong, even though you don't know you have been doing something wrong. You haven't been doing something wrong, but you can still be as scared of somebody finding out that you're doing something wrong as if you saw a lion outside your door. So your system can actually have just a strongly fright reaction of these psychological thoughts and reactions. And the system can be contradictory within itself. So we have this struggle that we can't align with the self, that we are disagreeing inside, and these reactions, this driving force, are disagreeing. So it's like something that's dragging you in two directions at the same time, or that you are pushing the speeder and the brake at the same time. Makes a lot of disruption, a lot of problems. But we can work through this and we can invite it in, and you do this because your sensitivity creates your ability if you reach the balance with the system. So if you think a little about how you see yourself as a sensitive, how sensitive do you think you are? How expanded is this sensitivity? Is it in one area of your life? Is it in multiple layers, multiple areas of your life? Is it in different states of being, well-being? And the question here, you mean sympathetic nervous system coming from lizard brain? Yeah, that's a way to say it. That's a way to explain it. But what I see is that this is where it ignites, but it doesn't stay there. It spreads through the whole system. And what I've seen is that in other area of the universe, where you also have beings that have the same state of consciousness that we have, this is not happening. The reactions that comes from the sympathetic nervous system coming from lizard brain will be transformed through the system. So it will ignite in this level, and then it will be transformed through the different levels and be split into a balanced reaction. So it will stay where it signals what makes sense. So if you have if you hurt yourself, or if something really fast is going on that you need to take care of, if you get sick, a lot of reactions is going on where this is really important. It's the one of the balanced way is actually how you are how you have the possibility to speak. The possibility to speak ignites also in the sympathetic nervous system, but as it travels through the system, it it splits and it balances, so it creates a wave of consciousness that is carrying in what you want to deliver, and then it transforms into language, and this language opens so you can use different tonations, you can use different words, you can use different symbols to try to explain what you want. Does it make sense? So the language is an expression of this balanced way, but we have situations where we get breakthroughs. So we will have situations where we're not available, where this is not available to us. So it will stay in this lower context, in this lower state that suits with the lower context. So even though you're present in a higher context, a higher peace, feeling safe in the level where this is activated, it can be activated in the higher level. So you lose your ability to communicate in the higher level, even though this communication is activated in this sympathetic nervous system from the lizard brain. It will stay in that line instead of being transformed. So you can even have the capacity available, but then you'll use it for like fighting. You will use it for cold-hearted ways of doing something that actually don't make sense and that has no meaning to you, but it's just activated, so you just do it. And it can both be the aggressive, and it can also be the passive. Every reaction that brings you out of your center, out of your own availability. Does it make sense? This actually, as I showed before, actually is just a model. So it means that this is not present anywhere. It's just a model that tries to explain a relationship between these different drag forces within ourselves. And this also, I didn't talk about it, has this signature of the zeroing point that's called the Grail state in the teachings that I'm going with. And when you're in this zeroing point, the Grail state, then every reaction you have with these driving forces within all these possibilities, when they're not there anymore, you will end back in the 0 point, the Grail state, and you will collect all these reactions as memories automatically inserted in your system as what's the English word? Data, as data. But the disrupting system has this problem that we are never getting to the zeroing point. So when you are when you're out of the zeroing point, if you have a reaction here, you'll end in another zeroing point, a new zeroing point. And then when you have a reaction, even though it's the same, it will have another outcome. When you're not reaching the zeroing point, you will be like throwing around, and all the data will not fit with each other. That means that you will get anxious. That means that you will have problems relate to your experience, and that your experience and what you know or what somebody's saying doesn't fit. So this means that the system within you begins to being twitched. So this is the reason why this is happening, is because we are not centered. Our consciousness has the availability to be moving around with the 0 point. Oh, and sharing here, trying to understand. I still feel like I don't understand the consciousness you're speaking from, but I just so much want to understand. And I recognize this so much, but I will try to invite you to leave it there and lean back and like kind of reach it with the vibration, because this opens through the system in a way where the boundary that comes from the system can't keep it away from you. So if you just lean back and try to let it go, and maybe go back and reuse this at replay, and then see what will happen. And then I hope you will give me a comment again to see if it opens when you reuse it. I'm doing this myself. When I'm meeting this in my inner visions, I see this is teachings that I've been receiving through inner visions myself and passed on to other people. In the beginning, I'm like, I'm not sure what this means, but I sense something is right here. Yeah, something about this, something about this. And then when I meet it some more and go around in my everyday life, and I have glimpse of understanding here and then suddenly it opens. And this is kind of the way that this have to be, because it opens in the new era way, it opens in your new era consciousness, and it's not here yet. If we open in the way where we understand the first, then the old way will kind of create the boundary. So this is a new way to be taught. So your sensitivity creates your ability. So just how sensitive are you, and how well could it be? How good could it be if this actually is an availability of a new ability? And this is ability to find your way around. We just make a small training, and this training you can find that in the other teachings as well. We use a single multi-dimensional focus exercise. You could call it mindfulness in a higher strength, where you select one sense, and it could be your eyesight, it could be a hearing, it can be the smell, it could be the sense of your body that touch to the surrounding, your feet, whatever. And then you take in one, your hand on your thigh, and then you take this sense and allow this sensation of the sense to spread throughout your body. And we have a sense that this sense that you chose is all over. Then you keep it there and open one more sense. Still have the experience from the first sense present in your consciousness, in your body. Then you take in another one. And then you allow this to be fulfilling, fill you up completely, allow it to enter, like being sensed in and through your body. And some people will already at 2 have this, oh, now it's flickering. The first is flickering, or the second is flickering, then it's enough with 1. Then you keep it there. But if 2 is easy, you move on to the next. You register that both impressions are completely present from the 2 first senses. And when you have chosen the first 2 senses as being much related to the body experience, then you can move on and take something like an experience, a sense of it's nice to be here, or it's annoying to be here. It's interesting to be here. Oh, I'm looking forward to my walk afterwards, my tea afterwards, or my bed. This is also creating a sense, and you take this in at the third one, and then you allow this to fill as much as possible in the body and everywhere, and you keep awareness on the two first senses if they're still present, and if one is flickering, then you go back to 2 and keep it there. If 3 is easy, you open the 4th. Between 1 and 4 is normal for modern people. I have trained up to 7 when I have trained a lot. These days it's mostly between 2 and 3, sometimes 4. Yesterday it was 1. And this is not like a competition about reaching as much as possible, as many as possible. This is about being silent. So if I ask you now, if you succeed on this training, and tell me if you have trouble with it, but if you succeed in this training, how is it with your thoughts and your emotions? In the zeroing state, they get silent. And what is really important is that they're not suppressed, but the bandwidth in your system is used for something else, and then it has no wires in your system available to work with you. So this is not the same as suppressing. It's really important, because if you suppress your thoughts and your feelings, your emotions, then they will come back through shadow energies and create a high vibrational negative energies and noise. So what do you say? Does it work for you? It doesn't have to. Sometimes you have to try things some more times before it works. I do this really much when I do housekeeping. When I do my chores, I do this at the same time to ensure that when I'm doing something that I have to do, that my mind, my energy, my system relax at the same time, having a break, because I use it so much. So the benefits of these short moments of no thoughts is to expand them. So in the beginning, it's zeroing in. So it's like having a possibility to see things from another perspective, but it's also first and most about bringing you into the zeroing state. So whatever was going on is not present anymore. So the next meeting with reality that opens is fresh, because if this is running, then the experience you have will be bonded in the experience you had just before. And if you have a strong reaction on something the day before or a week before, this will still be present. So it will be like you are drawing on a drawing. So the zeroing is like bringing in a new paper. So when you meet your reality, your existence, it will be doing this. It will be bringing in a new paper for writing your experience right now. So the benefits of the short moments of no thoughts and being silent is actually that you have a new start, a new start, a new start. And this is actually, to me, it was really turning my reality around. I didn't know that I was so colored by what's going on. But oh my God, I was so colored by everything, because I'm quite sensitive, and the more sensitive you are, the more the more you will be activated, the more you will be, the experience will embed in your system and stay there for a longer time. So the short steering supports you in releasing what's already there to start fresh. And when you're training it and you're doing it for longer time, then it releases stress. It gives you rest. So when I do my chores, if I practice this, I'm resting at the same time. So it's like doing my chores and taking a nap at the same time. You don't have to believe in me, but I will invite you to try it. And sometimes if you're struggling with having something that you can't find out what to do with it, if you know this experience of sleeping on it, so everything is like, oh, it's so difficult, I can't find my way around. Then you sleep and you wake up, and then, oh, why couldn't I see this? If you practice this for a longer span of time through the days, it will have the same possibility. And also when you have something and you can't let go of it because it's troubling you, then this supports you in like putting it on the shelves, so you're not using your energy and your consciousness to something that doesn't you can't do anything about it. Of course, if it's really something that's important to you and it's for real, then it will continuously infect you. No, yeah, affect you. But it it will not take over your capacity to handle something else. And maybe you know this experience about if something is really hard, then something can take your mind off it. So this, and then taking your mind off it supports you in resting, your nervous system relax more, and you can have a fresh moment. This is like a practice that invites this in. So you're not present with the task you're doing and instead focus on your body and other senses. No, actually, thank you for it's really good questions. It really kind of put things up in the best way. It is the opposite. You're present with exactly what you're doing. So I'm opening the senses. So I'm smelling, I'm listening to the sound of it. I sense my body is doing it, and sense the joy of that it's done, and just the satisfaction. So I have the satisfaction present together with the sense of the body, the smell, how I like it to be, or the sense of, oh, using my body really well. It's, oh, I get warm and everything is really, but I sense it intensely at the same time. So it's a training, and then I relax my system and start on fresh afterwards. Then if I'm doing my chores for a long time, then I can switch. Then I do this training, and then I can switch on to handling something that I need to take care of, handling it, and then put it on the shelf, and then open again. And when you do this daily, not for a very long time, because we have reached this 7-dimensional state of consciousness, then it's about finding the balance and begin to read the signs from your sensitivity. So when you have an availability to this presence, when you're in the steering state, you can use this to like catch the small differences when you find the balance. And then as shared here, when you describe that about the senses, when I do that, I feel very present in now. Exactly. This very present in the now. Sometimes you can have the same experience, but with a really alert nervous system. But now your nervous system isn't alert. Isn't that right? It's pretty silent. When your nervous system is silent, then it's balance. Then when you reach something, it could be with a thought, an experience, it can be something that's happening to you. Then you watch the reaction, and then you ensure that you reach, ensure that it's there, you allow it to be, but you ensure that it lands in the zeroing state. This is the balance. So with different reactions, different meeting, different experiences, different things you have to do, you keep an awareness. You observe the movement that goes through your system and that it lands in the zeroing state. When you do this, the signals that come from your sensitivity will begin to be your guidance, will begin to tell you really early when you need to change your direction by choice. Different small choices makes a difference. And when you begin to listen to these small choices, it opens your new era consciousness. And then the connection through your sensitivity opens to much more. Because this system carries the power system possibilities. You just stay as much as you can in this training, because this system is actually unbreakable. I know it doesn't always feel like that, and you can say to some people it do breaks and they need help, but in the connection and how it works, it's actually unbreakable. It's free, so it can reach a state where it doesn't rely on something to work. It's unlimited, it's self-constructive, it's interconnected, and it's collective as well as unique. And the capacity with these possibilities is never seen in the universe. So we have the highest capacity of these possibilities that has ever seen when it's turned around. So that's the good news. And the really good news that this is reachable now for everybody. But we can have a little reflection practice. So if you know yourself and you know your sensitivity, what is your signs of something is enough? What is your signs? I get nauseous. I can begin to sweat, actually. I can be annoyed. I can have difficulties in focusing. What is your signs? If you haven't found them yet, it's a good idea to begin to list them, because when you are sensitive and you're zeroing, these signs can be ignited in a really, really light way, and you will recognize them. And then you can use these signs to make a small change. What is your signs for more? My signs for more is that I have a sense of my vibration is going up. I'm open. I have I smile easy. It feels like my energy smiles by itself. It's like my senses opens to be more awake. That's some of my signs. What is your signs? My energy is going up. by every step I take. That's one of my signs. If you list your signs for more, then you'll be able to begin to, from the zero state, to find the smallest ignition of this. When you have the smallest ignition of this, you can take a micro step to move for it, move towards it. We have a good list here. When it's enough: impatient, irritated, unfocused, happy, grateful, inspired for, when it's time for more. Yes. And we can create like a huge list, and it will make sense to do it, because then we will open our inner consciousness to recognize it. Like when you try to remember your way around, this task or this way where you remember sincerely, oh, this road, this house, this sign. When you do this, you embed the knowledge, and by creating a huge list, you do the same, for it to be accessible without a thought. So you program yourself. The more you listen to this sign, these small signs, the stronger the connection, the more stabilization, the more sense, the more clearness, the more sanity. And sanity is really important. You can see that in our reality. That's going on that's insane. And I can see that we have used our time now. So I think we'll stop here, because I will open again for the next teaching. And I just see my calendar, my schedule. It will be the day after tomorrow. On Thursday the 19th, I will open again, and then the next day again for teaching 2 and 3. And we will move on with this teaching. And I hope that you will try to use this and use it in your everyday life to have the experience yourself. And by this experience, you open it in a way where maybe this makes more sense, and also the next step will make more sense. And this is really new to me. I'm so happy. We are 13 here. I'm so happy for your questions and interactions here. It brings it to live. I hope if you know anybody who might be having a good experience, who might be participating in this as well, and loving it, being inspired by it, or having a new way of seeing life, and they like that kind of being inspired, or being annoyed. Sometimes being annoyed is one of the really strong ways of being sometimes being annoyed inspires you to huge changes. Yes. Thank you. Interesting. Have to think it over. Thank you so much. And no matter what, from the bottom of my heart and all within, thank you for this meeting, everything we shared, and the energy that goes with it. I went through the video as well. And it's an ongoing, slow process. This is created as an easygoing way where it's easy to attend, and that the balance that you gain doesn't create destabilization. So it's a soft, gentle energy. So the usage of it was enhanced, and when you use it, it goes by yourself, and then you find your steps with it and balance with it. Thank you so much. Hope to see you again.